I think I was just very lucky. I was working in the theatre and I shouldn't really have been filming at the same time, but it happened. And I just think, it's such a small part, probably the smallest part I've ever played.
Hello, welcome to Galactic Initiative. I'm your host, Jeff. In this video, I will set the stage for a key scene in 1981's The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader's recruitment of bounty hunters to find the Millennium Falcon. For years after the Death Star's destruction, Darth Vader committed the massive Imperial Starfleet to capturing Han Solo's modified YT-1300 light freighter. The smugglers' surprise attack on Vader's fighter squadron allowed Luke Skywalker to destroy the space station and thereby save the Rebel Alliance. Vader's carefully orchestrated scheme involving the subterfuge of Princess Leia's escape and a homing beacon on the Falcon came undone in seconds. The Empire lost millions of its best troops, its leading military commander, Wilf Tarkin, and its reputation for invincibility. Vader's efficacy also suffered in the eyes of his master, Darth Sidious, the Galactic Emperor. Vader narrowly avoided death as his TIE Advanced spun away from the doomed station. To say he harbored a personal grudge against Solo would be an understatement. Since his defeat by Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar, an event known only to the Lords of the Sith, Vader had not faced such humiliation. His mission to recover the stolen plans had failed on the most epic scale. Rivals for power were suddenly emboldened to question and criticize Vader. General Tag and Prince Shizor, for example. Vader was forced to waste time and resources to remind the unwise and ambitious alike that he was the merciless right hand of the Emperor, when he needed all his time and resources to search for his son, Luke Skywalker. Like most of his past, Vader's connection to the boy, the rebellion's newest hero, was buried by years and his vigilance. But if rivals like Shizor could uncover the truth, time, once his greatest ally, had turned against him. He needed to find and train his son to defeat Darth Sidious before Sidious foresaw a coup, and others exposed the boy's paternity. Vader's troubled feelings about his former life and weakness must also be buried until the Emperor was gone. Such was the way of the Sith. Yet, despite his enduring rage and the isolating nature of the dark side, an unfamiliar emotion began to swirl in him: hope. Before he considered alternatives to the Imperial Starfleet, Vader's quest had yielded information without tangible results. He learned Han Solo, a smuggler with a price on his head, was Luke's friend. The two had appeared together for the cause of revolution across the galaxy since the calamity on Yavin. The surprisingly resilient former Princess Leia Organa was often in their company. Solo's skills as a pilot and his underestimated starship continued to evade Imperial forces. Though his admirals and captains believed he hunted the rebels, Vader pursued his son and, by extension, his son's friends. Personal attachments were flaws to be exploited. Many years ago, Jedi Master Yoda advised him to let go of covetous or dependent relationships. The wrinkled lizard's advice proved correct, but not as it was intended. Affection for others threatened one's power and agency. Vader would find Luke, or he would compel Luke to find him, using the boy's associations. And taking revenge on Captain Solo appealed to Vader's sense of justice. The fleet's recent failure to blockade Hoth and secure the Falcon convinced Vader that unconventional means were necessary. Overwhelming numbers and firepower had not apprehended the rebel ships, so the Imperial military, it seemed, was the wrong tool for the job. Solo's simple tricks and nonsense bested the Imperial Academy's finest. But the bounty placed by Jabba the Hutt intrigued Vader. Smugglers existed in underworlds around the borders of civilized space. The best bounty hunters already knew and tracked Solo through these areas, where uniformed troops were useless and reliable intelligence was difficult to acquire. Why not align their goals with his own, thought Vader. A substantial Imperial reward on top of a substantial bounty would make Solo the most valuable prize in the galaxy. In his former life, Vader had worked with and against bounty hunters like Bossk, Cad Bane, and Embo. Though treacherous, they had one thing in common: greed. Some were fierce, unorthodox, highly efficient, and operated in Solo's realm. Vader planned to stamp out all crime syndicates and bounty hunters eventually. But finding Luke was the first step toward the level of order he envisioned. He was willing to compromise certain principles in the short term to drive sweeping changes in the long term. His master often took advantage of crime lords and other seedy elements, a strategy Vader abhorred, though its merits in this case were clear. And so the Dark Lord's invitation reached a select group of galactic mercenaries. In response, Boba Fett, Bossk, Dengar, Forlom, IG-88, and Zuckuss came to Vader's remote location, and he briefed them on the Super Star Destroyer Executor. He promised a substantial reward to the hunter who could find the Millennium Falcon, and reinforced his capture-don't-kill instructions with a stern warning for Jabba the Hutt's favorite enforcer, Boba Fett: no disintegrations. Firmus Piet interrupted Vader's briefing with an update. "We have them," his newly promoted admiral declared confidently. From experience, Vader knew Piet's assurance was premature, but he dismissed his unusual guest only minutes after their arrival. One way or another, he would catch the Millennium Falcon to draw his son to him and settle a long overdue score with its captain. If, as he had so many times before, Solo escaped, the bounty hunters would find him. Subsequently, Boba Fett located the Falcon. Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and C-3PO were captured, and a father taught his son an important lesson, but not as it was intended. Hate can make you powerful at the cost of your agency. This key scene, roughly 1 minute long, helped define the saga by setting up one of the best climaxes in cinematic history. The Empire Strikes Back is the highest rated and most critically acclaimed Star Wars film for good reason. If Darth Vader did not employ bounty hunters, what would the second half of The Empire Strikes Back have brought? Hard to imagine. Please hunt for the subscribe button if you liked the video, and check out other Setting the Stage videos from Galactic Initiative.
Galactic Initiative is not authorized or endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited. The name Star Wars and all related materials are registered trademarks of Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company, all rights reserved. Galactic Initiative is a registered trademark, and other product and company names are trademarks of their respective holders. Use does not imply affiliation or endorsement.